How do you go from one of the hottest rappers in 2019 to selling less than 500 tickets to your show? I'm really here to understand how Dababy has fallen off so far. So we're just going to start from the beginning. So join me today as we look into how Dababy absolutely ruined his career. So for this video, I'm basically going to be compiling a timeline of Dababy's early career and all of his controversies, since they're both very crucial to this topic. There's also another big component as to why he may be destroying his career, and no one's really covering it. So I want to talk about that later in this video. So, you know what? Let's just check this out. I'm gonna tell you. So Dababy has been up to his antics ever since he started his music career. He sold everything he owned at the time to afford the studio time and the necessary things to begin his career. His first rap name was Baby Jesus, and he later changed it to Dababy in 2017. He may have had the name for marketing purposes, but I'm not really quite sure, man. He also wore a diaper to South by Southwest in 2017, which he said was for marketing purposes. And early in his career, he would even go around pulling up posters, trying to encourage people to listen to his music, which is something we never really see rappers do nowadays. And I really respect it, because he was putting in a lot of work for that. He'd been releasing a solid amount of music since 2015, but he began getting attention and cosigns back in 2018. The same year, in November, he would have one of his first major controversies when he shot and killed a man in Walmart. He was shopping for his kid when two men tried to attack him. So he shot them in self-defense, killing one of them. All charges were later dropped as it was self-defense. That wasn't actually where the controversy laid. He put a bunch of clips from the news about the incident in his music video, kind of promoting it and bloating it for the song No Tears a few days later, which got him some flack. So he apologized shortly after. I'm not gonna lie though, that was pretty hard intro for a music video. God man, I'm not gonna lie. He began blowing up after dropping the music video for his song, Walker Texas Ranger, which was fire, in January of 2019. And later that month, he signed at Interscope. He dropped his first studio album, Baby on Baby. Just a couple months later, Dababy was dominating throughout 2019 and 2020 with songs like Shug, Bop, and Rockstar, Under the Sun, Vibes, and many more. Later in 2019, Dababy released his second studio album, Kirk, which sold 145k units first week. 2019 was undoubtedly Dababy's biggest year, with 2020 being pretty successful as well. But ever since 2020, he's also had a string of controversies following him around that have been plaguing his image. So most of the incidents I'm going to mention are the reasons why and how I think Dababy ruined his career. In my opinion, it all began in March 2020 when he was seen punching a fan in the face. He was making his way to do a show at an after party when a fan was putting her phone very close to his face. The flash was on and it touched his face, and he got super mad and swung. The show was cancelled, and soon after he apologized online. Giving his side of the story, the incident wasn't that bad, but it was the first of many to come. On top of his upcoming controversies, he would also begin to get memed for making the same song over and over again and having the same flow. So it's pretty obvious that his music wasn't hitting quite the same as it has been before. I just want everyone to keep that in mind going forward. Anyways, in July of 2021, Dababy made arguably one of the biggest mistakes he has made so far in terms of ruining his career, and that was when he made homophobic comments at Rolling Loud. I have no idea what possessed him to say that during his Rolling Loud set. I don't know if he was trying to hype up the crowd or trying to be funny or what, because that's definitely not what happened. But immediately after that, the backlash began. He was then called out by the Floor of Artists, one of the biggest clubs with Dua Lipa, and his verse was removed from the radio. And then he was dropped by Lollapalooza, Dane Vegas, and a bunch of other festivals and venues. He even lost out on clothing collaboration with the brand Boohoo Man. This was probably one of the most, if not the most, damaging controversies to his career. Addressed it at a live show.
One time, I'm gonna get back to giving my love to my fans. See what I'm saying? Because what me and my fans do at the live show, it don't concern you on the internet or you bitter on the internet. It's not y'all business. You know what I'm saying? Like what I do at a live show is for the audience at the live show. It'll never translate correctly to somebody looking at a little 5-6 second clip from their goddamn crib on their phone. It just don't work like that. Like, you know, because regardless of what you talking about, how the internet and twisted up my word, me and Al.
So his response was kind of iffy on God. In November of 2021, he got into even more controversy with singer Danny Leah, who had a very public beef. There was a live stream video on many Instagram stories going back and forth, and their beef continued for a few months. In February 2022, he got into a fight with her brother, Brandon Bills, at a bowling alley in California. There were different stories from both sides, with Dababy claiming it was self-defense. But in the video, it kind of looked like Dababy and his team jumped him, which didn't look super good for him, you know what I'm saying? Then in April of 2022, he was in my personal favorite controversy of his. And that's when he tried to kiss a fan twice, man. And she curved him both times. He later said online that he was sorry, and a bunch of other weird fake apologies. But he was seamlessly let off the hook for that one as well. He was seen doing it again, like a month later, which was again super embarrassing. He got curved by another fan, drunk Dababy, man. And he didn't grab her face this time, thankfully, but it was just low-key awkward, man. At this point, his situation kind of reminds me of Webby and the Mirrors, where no one is going to end up taking him seriously because of all the silly mistakes he's been making, especially with how embarrassing some of these controversies kind of seem. A week after the first kissing incident, Dababy shot another man for intruding on his property. He shot him in the leg, and of course, he did it out of self-defense. I'm pretty sure he's being cleared of it because it was self-defense, man. So it wasn't really controversial, but it did get him a lot of attention, especially with the policeman. Being released shortly after, then a couple weeks later, he was also seen punching his own artist, Wisdom, in the face. For reasons that we don't actually know. And all those controversies led up to this. A little over a week ago, Dababy canceled a show because of low ticket sales. And apparently, he sold less than 500 tickets. And an arena that can hold about 15,000 people. And some of the tickets were pretty low, to the point of $35. So why do all these controversies matter, man? I mean, plenty of other big artists have recovered from big controversies, such as Chris Brown, for example. And, I mean, Kanye West. Kanye West is the GOAT, though. So why is this a big deal for Dababy? Well, it seems like people have been way more focused on his controversies than his music. Especially when it seems like the musical quality just hasn't been there, unlike Chris Brown or Kanye West. And Chris Brown, arguably, he hasn't had a hit song since Rockstar in 2020. So he seems like becoming more of a gimmick rapper than an actual rapper. Kind of like 6ix9ine, but obviously not as trash, but kind of just an example. You know what I'm saying, man? Dababy may have a lot of monthly listeners, and his numbers may look good, but that doesn't mean that he has a fan base, or a solid one at least. It seems like his old hits and his features are kind of carrying his career recently, and he doesn't seem to have a strong core fan base like many small artists do with diehard fans. This would perfectly explain why he can go viral for something like this, but he can't sell 500 tickets in New Orleans. So then it begs the question, why is Dababy ruining his own career? Unlike 6ix9ine, who I compared earlier, Dababy actually seems like a pretty smart guy. I mean, 6ix9ine kind of smart marketing-wise, but it just wouldn't make sense for him to involve himself in all these controversies if you think about it. I see maybe two possible reasons. The first one, it's a marketing strategy, which is kind of the obvious. This reason is less likely, but in my opinion, it's possible. Some of his antics have been for marketing purposes. The reason I say this is because things like him wearing a diaper Diaper Man, South by Southwest, or hanging on a cross in his last music video are very clearly intentional gimmicks for publicity. But on the flip side, some of the things he's been involved in have been kind of out of his control, such as the shooting. He's just defending himself, nigga. So I think the more likely reason that he's been ruining his career is because, as corny as it sounds, man, no lie, maybe it's mental health. Now there's something I don't see anyone talking about because if we really think about it, shortly after he dropped Baby on Baby, his dad passed away a month later. This was clearly a big blow to his mental health. His following album, Kirk, was dedicated to his dad, and that was his last name. And there's a picture of his dad holding him as a kid. And the conspiracy theorists will say he got sacrificed because of his dad. He later revealed that although 2019 was his biggest year as an artist, it was also one of his toughest years mentally. He said he had a fake smile the whole year. He'd be laughing at money, but his father's dead. And to this day, he still hasn't known how his dad died. A year later, his brother killed himself, which is also probably a huge blow to his mental health on God, man. He dedicated the project My Brother's Keepers, Long Live G, to his brother in 2020. And like I said earlier, most of his controversies, his beefs, his lash outs were post-2020, so this kind of makes sense. After these two huge losses, combine those losses with all the hate and attention, I'm willing to bet they have a huge impact on his behavior. So regardless of how his career is going right now, I really do hope that he can make a change for the better. And when I say that, Dababy ruined his career. I don't mean that it's over despite all the controversies. He's still extremely successful. He's still making music and he's still getting decent plays. And he's probably financially set for a very long time, man. He's been dancing out money, nigga. His last album sold 67K in his first week, which still isn't bad at all, but a significant fall off. However, the way things are going right now, I can see this downward spiral continuing. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, thanks for watching. Remember to like this video, subscribe, and comment. Man, let me know what you think about this video. Why is Dababy ruining his career, man? Let me know. Peace out.